We are all stuck at different stages of identity, different parts of identity. Some of us believe that we are the body. Anything goes wrong with the body, anything slightly, slight problem, slight setback, immediately it's like, oh my God, what's happening to me? And my whole world is crumbling, everything is gone. Some people are stuck at the level of the intellect, just thinking things through. And if you look on different groups that we interact with on social media, people talk non-stop about all kinds of topics. They have very strong views about this, very strong views about that, and we clash. Your intellect clashes with my intellect. We see that all the time. And there are others that are stuck with their emotions. You cannot deny that emotions exist. They do. We all feel it from time to time. They rise and fall in your body. They rise and they fall in your body. And if you did or said nothing, if you sat all day in meditation, you would see the sensations beginning in your body and a certain uneasiness beginning in your body, and it'll subside. All emotions begin in your body as a sensation. That means the emotion has begun even before the thought has come into your mind. That, oh my God, I'm feeling angry. Before it crystallizes as a thought, the emotion has already arisen. In fact, I was reading that they've done some tests run some tests on meditating monks, and found that action, all types of action, like when you decide that, say, I want to just move my hand like this, it begins a few seconds after the mental activity has taken place in the brain. Which is interesting to know, because you wonder where that impulse comes to just do this with your hand, to do that with your hand, to sneeze, to cry, to laugh, to be happy. We're too caught up in what is just temporary. All emotion comes and goes. And what you do is, as the emotion is rising in your body, you search for something in your environment to confirm how you feel. You spent a whole day working on the internet, everything has gone wrong, you did everything, the screen disappeared, it crashed on you, the computer fell down, you lost your thing, the water fell on the side, the day has gone really badly. And then your child walks in and says, Mom, the food is really terrible today. And that's it. You lose your temper. It's not the child that you're angry with. The anger or the irritation was already there in you. And you just found something outside to confirm or to make sure that that emotion that you're feeling is justified. Is absolutely correct. That's how you're supposed to feel. You can get very angry and do nothing. You can watch the emotion rising and passing. That's why elders will always say, count up to 10. What is the beauty about that? Is that they know from time immemorial, everybody understands that emotions come and emotions go. There are so many factors at play in a day to give rise to how you feel. A good night's sleep, wonderful weather, someone to greet you well in the morning, an interesting piece of news. So many things have to come together for you to feel like my day is good. Right? We've got so many reasons. Someone disturbs your cup of coffee in the morning and you're unsettled. You can't do a yoga routine. It's too difficult for you. And it's immediately, oh my God, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. It's a sense of being unsatisfied with what is going on. But if you wait for a moment, that feeling of being unsatisfied passes. But no, what do? We claim that emotion as us, that I am useless. Not that today was a bad yoga day. We could very easily say today is a bad yoga day, but no, we say today I'm useless. I can't do this. Don't you see how each and every day when you ask someone, how are you? Oh, I'm happy. I am sad. I am stressed. I am everything that they describe is not about them, but is about the emotion that they're currently undergoing. When you buy into an emotion, when you claim it as your own, it causes problems in you. Because all emotions have physical repercussions. So when you're talking about acute stress, like one incident that causes an acute reaction in you, like you're terribly frightened. Say, the curtains catch fire. Right? A feeling of panic rises within. Your heart is racing. Your blood pressure has increased. Right? And you, at that minute, if you become the fear, then you will not be able to put out the fire. Now that is one acute incident. What do? We take that trauma and we bring it into every aspect of our lives. Every aspect of our lives. So it's not what is chronic stress? Chronic stress is feeling the anxiety even though there is nothing present. Just the thought of it. Just the thought of it happening brings on the stress. So one time you go into the ocean and your foot slips and you fall in and you have that moment of drowning, that moment of panic, but then you're pulled out. But you remember that. And that fear of it, every time you go near the ocean will rise. Without any incident happening, you will never learn to swim, you will never learn to do anything. So emotion, without you understanding it, paralyzes you. If you identify with it, if you make it your identity, if you make it your reality. Emotions can rise, emotions can fall. Negative emotions of jealousy, of envy, of anger, of hatred, of fear, these have a much bigger impact on your life. To live in continuous hatred, to constantly hate everything around you, is not a way to live, isn't it? We shy away from people that are constantly spewing hatred. Because all of us, each one of us, even though we live in this body and we react to this body, we understand that emotions pass this body, we have a faint recollection of what it felt like between lives, of that eternal peace, of that eternal happiness, of that sense of calm. And we long for that. Everybody wants to be happy, but they simply don't know how. And the mind is so attracted to the negative because by presenting the negative, it gets your attention. So yes, anger is much more exciting. Being passionate is much more exciting. Talking about what other people have and what other people do is much nicer. But how does it make you feel? What happens inside of you when you're undergoing negative emotions all the time? It is much better to say there is anger than to say I am angry. Are you? Are you really angry? Are you really angry? Or are you able to see that anger is rising, your blood pressure is rising, words are coming into your mouth that are going to hurt somebody else? And then is it possible at that moment to pull back and say, happiness is my birthright, and just stop? And just stop and not say those things. Because I can tell you, from the most unconscious to the most sublimely conscious, emotions do arise. That is part of being a mammal. Emotions arise even in birds. They arise to a lesser extent, but they arise even in mammals. In your dogs, don't you see the emotions? But if you kick a dog, it's not going to remember you 20 years later, 10 years later and say, that man kicked me. Although they say elephants do that. It's not going to feel sad every day thinking, oh my God, this person said this to me. Only human beings do that to themselves. Somebody says something to you once, and you feel the insult and the anger and the affront and the absolute negative ballooning of emotions 100 times a day. 100 times a day. You will repeat it to yourself again and again, and each time you repeat it, although you may not realize it, the emotion is rising. The thought, the emotion, when they combine, they create what we call impressions, and these impressions, they remain in the subconscious. Underneath the surface, they are not available to your conscious mind. You have no idea this is happening. And this is particularly much more pronounced when there is grief, because we want to appear to be strong. We want to show the world that, we are not affected by it. But inside there is a dialogue going on, and every time that dialogue is going on, there are thoughts and emotions, and these things are combining, and they are staying underneath the surface. It is only in meditation that we can get below that level, and then they get released. On their own they get released. In deep meditation, you'll find old trauma, things, a fight that you had with a friend, a fall that you had, an accident that someone had, somebody's passing. These memories come to you. They come to you even in your dreams. They'll come the next day. You'll suddenly feel like contacting someone you haven't contacted in years. This comes with regular meditation. Because what has happened? You've gone below the surface. Some unresolved trauma has just opened up without you realizing it. And not once when you get into meditation do you not feel better after. Something in you releases always, 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 always. You might feel that I'm too angry, I'm too agitated, I'm too emotional to meditate. But try it. Try it. Just the breath works like magic. You feel fear, you feel anger, you feel anguish, you feel grief, you feel the sense of loss. Just breathe. And as you breathe out and you release whatever you're feeling, there is a definite release of something. Emotions come, emotions go. People used to ask, Shri, does Shri ever get angry? This was, I'm talking 10 years ago. And people say that he is like, the anger will come, he'll yell at somebody. And then he's again talking to them as if nothing ever happened. So it's not holding on to anything. Sometimes you need to shout to get some work done. You need to respond to your emotions, the emotions that are playing out. And you need to feel them. When you bottle up emotions, they get stuck inside, and that's when the stress builds, and that's when the disease comes. All emotion must be felt completely and then released. You're feeling sad, feel the sadness. It's all right to be sad. You don't have to be jumping from the rooftops every day. Feel it and let it go. You're feeling the anger, feel it and let it go. You're feeling the envy or the jealousy, acknowledge it. Acknowledge your emotions, acknowledge that they exist, but don't identify with it. Big difference. Yes, I am feeling anger. Yes, I am feeling envy. Don't say I am envious. I am angry. I am scared. I am nervous. Because then you're tying yourself too closely with an emotion that just comes and goes. You'll get really upset, and then you'll call all your friends, and you'll call your mom, and you say, oh my God, Mom, this happened. 5 minutes later, the emotion has passed. And your friends are thinking you're sad, and your mom is thinking, oh my God, my poor child. She's gone through so much today. I hope she's feeling better. And mom is feeling bad, but the girl's emotion has come and passed, and she's feeling great. Right? They come and they go. They're just passing guests. You welcome them when they come. Don't deny the emotion. And let it go. See, we have a lot of, we don't know what situations we've been in previous existence. So some of us might seem angrier than others. Some might seem more envious than others. Some might seem unbelievably calm. But we never know what's going on under the surface. Just because a person doesn't confront others, it doesn't mean that the anger is not rising. The affront is not arising. The frustration is not building. The dissatisfaction doesn't exist. These things happen. This is life. If we had none of all that, no emotion, no nothing, life would be so colorless. It's wonderful that we have such a lot of emotion that we can pick and choose from. The only thing that you have to be mindful of, am I the emotion? Day is going badly. You just lost your job. You're crying, you can't believe it that it's happened to you. If you go deeper and you go deeper into it, you understand that none of this, everything, every emotion, every feeling of anguish starts with a thought, and that thought says, I don't like this. You go back to any situation, I don't care what the situation is. But the feeling of being traumatized or hurt or fearful comes from that one thought that says, I don't like this. All day you're saying it, I like this, I don't like this, I like this, I don't like this. Thumbs up, thumbs down. All day. That's what we're doing. Just don't call your emotional state you. It's just your emotional state. It's just like when you judge people, you don't say, they are that person is stupid. You might say that comment that person passed is quite stupid, or the thought that person had is quite stupid. It's quite different from calling the person stupid, right? Just as we don't want to judge others, don't judge your emotions. Let them come, welcome them as guests, and let them depart. When they are there, feel the emotion. Don't feel bad that you're feeling the emotion. Cry if you must. Laugh if you must. But let it stay for a short while and let it go. And you will find that as you acknowledge your feelings, you will find that there's much more that you can control. You can see the emotion rising and do nothing. And that's the real art of living. Om Namah Shivaya.